person who, when you first meet and spend some time with, you always had a smile on your face and wanted to be with him again? Who was a person who could take a simple song, Ringo, and by the end of the night have everybody singing that song? Who was a person who had an unbelievable imagination? It could come up with great inventions. Many of you might remember the rear intake. Please, veteran agents, tell the new agents what that's all about. Who was a person who not only could make you laugh, but never cease to amaze you with his knowledge? Who was a person who knew how to care for his family and co-workers? A granddaughter who he helped change her life. Feeding his father his daily lunches in the nursing home. And he was also very concerned to when Mary Gillis was having her nails done. And making sure the tap at home was always full for his spouse. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that person is
Joe
Piette. Thank you very much. Joey, everyone should have a friend like you. You are so much fun to be with, and you are such a good person. You crack me up with laughter, and you touch my heart with kindness. Time after time, you've come to my rescue and brightened so many of my routine days. I really do believe that everybody should have a friend like you. I miss you. Please join me in a toast, if you would, please. Joey, here's to you, my friend. You brought many smiles to us. I know you're up there. Say a lot of prayers. I especially need them. To Joey.
Joey.
Hi everybody, I'm Jim Piette. If you don't know me, I'm Joe's older brother. It's really sad tonight. We had so much fun last year at the same banquet. You guys were there sitting. He entertained our table for 1 hour, and he entertained me for most of my adult life, to tell you the truth. So it is sad. I'm gonna just say a few things about living, dying, and about Joey. So bear with me if I'm a little pokey here, but it's been said that a wise man cannot invent another minute of life, and a rich man cannot buy another hour. St. Francis said we are no more entitled to the time before our birth than we are the time after our death. And we cannot choose, I think you just said that to me tonight, we cannot choose how we die and when we die, but we can choose how we live, and Joey knew how to live. Now, he had a caustic sense of humor, and many times I was the brunt of that, although I know I got him back on occasion. He loved his family and friends. Billy just told you that. He was a good man, and he had a strong faith. His word, that was gospel. His word was his bond. But I'm going to tell you some of the humorous things, if that's okay. He used to tell people in Green Bay, if we went out for a drink, he would say, ask my brother Jimmy how he learned how to swim. Of course, he didn't want to be answering. He was going to tell them how Jimmy learned how to swim. He said my dad took him out on the pier in Alabama and shoved him off into Lake Michigan. Of course, everybody laughed, and he'd say it wasn't so bad once he got out of the bag. He said what was really a shame is all those scratch marks on his back from the cats. None of what I'm telling you is made up. This is Mary Gillis will vouch for. He always asked Mary every day to come in, he said, "I'd only pay you Tuesday for a lead today." Kind of a wimpy, if anybody's old enough to remember, well, Ricky, you are. He would say that my mom used to tie a pork chop around my neck so the dog would play with me. like to tell people at Christmas time he got a BB gun and Jimmy got a t-shirt with a target on the back. This is one of my favorite ones. We went out for beer one night and he told the lady bartender, he said, I have to go to the bathroom. He said, keep an eye on my brother. He has a tendency to swallow his tongue. And I want to tell you, she kept an eye on him. And his billfold, I know many of you, Billy, you'll remember this. He had a picture in his billfold and he'd say to a perfect stranger, he'd say, you want to see my pride and joy? And I'd say, sure. And he'd take out his billfold and he had a picture of a bottle of pride and a bottle of joy. All right. If I'm going the right way. Oh, this was just recently before he passed away. He said, if you want to improve your life, try to act more like Charlie Sheen. Billy mentioned there's another side to Joe. When our dad was in the nursing home, he went every day, and he went so he could feed him. And I went a lot too, but he did a lot better than I did. I tell you, he had so much compassion. One of his granddaughters kind of got sick of going to high school, and she was a senior, and he decided she was going to graduate, and he drove to Green Bay from O'Connell Falls, 45 minutes, and picked her up every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, took her to Goodwill because she had to do some community service work to make up for credits that she missed. Then he would drive her to school and get her back home, and he did that one entire year, not for a week, a month. I don't know how many hands would go up if I asked how many of us would do that same chore, because I thought that was tremendous. So there was a side to him that maybe we didn't see, but I know that when people left him, they always seemed to be happier. Not because they were leaving, but they just they enjoyed that experience. But I think they were better for it, and they were happy for having him. I don't see Mary, but she could vouch for this. People called our office, his clients, and cried. There's a story about a young man who wanted to search for the meaning of happiness, and he searched for years to find the wise man in the mountains, and finally he found him, and he asked him, wise man, he said, what is happiness? And the wise man said, grandfather dies, father dies, son dies. And he said, how could this possibly be happiness? And he said, it's because that's the natural order of things. It's kind of heady for me, but I think Joey would have wanted it this way. I sure wouldn't want to go before any of my children, I can tell you that. I think it just happened too soon. That's our problem. But we're all headed in that direction. Just about done. If you saw any good qualities in Joey, pick one you admired and maybe adopt it as your own. I think this would be a better place if we all did that. I'm going to finish with a story. His wife Sue called me one day. We talked on the phone, and she said she went up and down these stairs, I won't say hundreds of times, but many, many times after Joey died. And in one trip upstairs, she found the St. Christopher medal. And nobody knows where it came from, so I'll let you draw your own conclusions. Excuse me for my emotions, but that's all I have to say. Thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it.